Welcome, subscribers. Welcome, new subscribers. Thank you for subscribing to the channel. My name is Reverend Penelope. I am a metaphysical practitioner, an intuitive reader, an author, and a shaman, among other things. Now, I posted a book about advanced planetary magic, and today I'm going to do a small book review and a brief discussion on this book, Planetary Magick. Let's go up here so you can see the front. The cover may look different because this is a really old book and it's been reprinted lots of times. So this book is called Planetary Magick by Denning and Phillips. They did a great job with this book. This is the first book that I found that included divine feminine archetypes and representations. I can't rave about this book enough. Now, before I go in through the book review, it's one thing you should understand when you're working with planetary magic, especially because you're going to be working with intelligences, you're going to be working with spirits. Now, what I found in this, especially when you go into Kabbalah, this is all astral. It is real, but it is astral. And the astral plane is actually creating the physical plane once you can understand that. And you're probably asking me, why is this important? Remember that I told you that your imagination is the car to the spirit world. That's the car you're going to be driving. You're going to be in your creative imagination. Now, the way Kabbalah breaks it down, it's a book I was reading. I have to go back to that book as I read so many books. But it was a book breaking down that you are actually making these deities when you go into meditation and start seeing them. And the more that you work with them in that astral plane, going into meditation, because you would have to have a meditation ritual to go in here and talk to these beings. So the more you go in and talk to them, the more you solidify them in your consciousness, and your magic gets stronger and stronger the more you can solidify them in meditation or the astral realm. This is why the astral realm imagination is so important, because you're going to be constructing a lot of these deities in your deep mind, in the deepest recesses of your mind, and you are going to be solidifying them by going into meditation and interacting with them. And the longer you do that, the more you do that, the stronger your connection gets, and the deity becomes solidified in your consciousness, and you have better interaction with it. So if you're not great at meditating, now is the time to start experimenting with your visualization, because you're going to need it. You're going to need your imagination and creative imagination when you're dealing with this. This is why they show you the pictures of how these deities look, because this is how those deities look to them when they went into meditation. This is how they built the deity. But the deity may look a little different to you, or it may be similar to the deity that is presented to you. That's why they give you descriptions of the deity and all that, so you can start creating the deity in your mind and start seeing it through your own perception and your own third eye. I hope you guys are following me here and I have not lost you. I thought that was important to recommend, or just to talk about first before you get into planetary magic. Visualization is very important. That's why you if you're on this channel, been on this channel a while, you'll see I have plenty of journey meditation with a lot of visualization prompts in them, because my intention was to improve your visualization so you can have a great meditation experience. Okay? And so I hope I haven't lost you there. I just thought I should mention that. And I think they mentioned that in this book. They've mentioned this in a few of esoteric and occult books I have I have read. They usually mention it at the beginning of the book to let you know how you would interact and how you would communicate with these archetypes. Now that I said that, let's go on. Okay, what I love about this book, it is so detailed. It is so detailed. Look how detailed it is. I mean, Denning and Phillips did a great job of putting all the details in here. Even gives different rituals and rites to do on certain days to contact planetary deities. So I have not found a book that is like this. That's why I was so intrigued with this book, because it includes a lot. So if you're a beginner at Planetary Magick, I recommend this book. I recommend this book because they have done their research. I mean, this is a great reference book to have in your library. And so you see how detailed it is. This book has 223 pages in it. Okay. So let's go here. I think we're going to hit Saturn. I'm not going to keep you here long. I just want to skim the book and kind of show you why I like the book, why it jumped out at me. Okay, so the first time they go through is Saturn. And then it tells you the planetary names of Saturn. Then gives you the profile of Saturn, kind of lets you know how the energy feels. And then they talked about the Sifra. What Sifra is it linked to? They have Benaya, Sophia, and Understanding. Then it's a book called The Paths of Wisdom. It tells you which path that Saturn represents with, and it's the 32 paths of wisdom. Tells you the element that is good to work with Saturn, and it says the earth here. And then it goes in, what is the symbols and magical implements? So they have this I don't know if that is the scythe, keys, the hourglass, drawing compasses, astrolabe, caldron, Merle crown, starry row, double X as a symbol of the Great Mother. So you seeing it here, okay? You are seeing it here. What this all means here. They breaking that down. Then they come to these sigils. Now I don't know too much about these sigils. I wouldn't use them because I have to see how that's made, and I don't know how that's made. So I preferably wouldn't use the sigils. They talk about the numbers and the geometric form here, the design, the colors, the music. This is another one of my favorite parts because it goes in to tell you what type of music you can play to tap into the energy of Saturn. And it talks about brooding, transformative, mystical, obscure. So it gives you examples of music that you can play. And we all know that art, music is spiritual. So that only, I think, amps up your ritual or your ceremony when you can find the music. And that certainly was my disposition trying to work with these planets, is finding the right music that would invoke the planet. And so it tells you the animals that are associated with it: the ass, the goat, the antelope, the goose, the peacock. And then it tells you the trees, the herbs, the incense to use, the gemstones to use that's associated with Saturn. Lets you know the health, the psychological, physiological impact that Saturn has on the body. And this right here, like, blew me away when I seen the celestial queen that represents Saturn. So there are divine feminine archetypes in this book that you can work with that represent planets. Okay. So again, it's letting you know she's sitting on this jet black throne that represents Saturn. And then you have the masculine energy here, that's called the ancient. But what really got me here was very intriguing, because I remember making a video is on who's the patriarch god. And I talked about Yoldenboth, and you'll see it spelled this way too, is Aldenboth. But it's funny that he's being mentioned here again. Uh, and it lets you know about all the names that this masculine deity goes by. There's a song here. Again, it talks about the spirit of Saturn is Aratron. Because remember, we talked about intelligence and spirits that are associated with the planets. There's angels and spirits. And it also tells you how the angel would manifest. This is probably what you would see in meditation. It says he's a tall, large frame, but thin male, figured with dark gray hair and a beard. He is dressed in a full skirted robe, completely encrusted with metallic crystals, in which continually flashes a cold fire. So they're letting you know, giving you a brief description of what you will possibly visualize during that meditative experience. And it goes down here to talk about the angelic names. So you see the divine names here. Yahweh, Elohim, Yad-Heh-Vah-Heh, Elohim, Tetragrammaton, Elohim, and it mentions the angel. But what really, the best comparison, I think, with this book is the book that I gave you guys. It's called Summoning Spirits. That book and this book is a good combination. I think both of them would be good reference books, because in the summoning spirits book, they talk about this here. And what is the intelligence here? Agiel. What's the spirit here? Zazel. So they break all this down for you, and I just love it, the way they have broke it down. And then they talk about Hera. How is Hera addressed? She is called the concealed one, the revealed one, the queen of heaven, all powerful mistress, the chaste, the ox-eyed. And they list other names here. But Hera also is associated with Saturn, and I had no idea that she was associated with Saturn. So you see these divine feminine archetypes coming up here that we can use to connect with our divine feminine. That was important for me, because my thing is finding myself in here. Okay? That is my thing. I think we should all know ourselves and be finding ourselves in our spiritual practice, what resonates with us. So especially women, since a lot of the most newest occult books are, they're based on the psychology of men, the masculine part, and not the divine feminine. So I think it's important that women interface with their divine feminine, because a lot of these books, I think, are misogynist because they're written by men and they do not include the divine feminine energy. That's just my opinion, you guys. Okay, so you see them. This is Hera here, and then this is Kronos here, and then it goes on to talk about these Babylonian deities as well. Gives you a breakdown of that. Like, this is a great book. And then we go down here to Ishtar of Erech, and she is associated with Saturn. I did not know that there were divine feminine aspects associated with these planets until I found this book. Now, I've read many esoteric and occult books, but none of them give this much information. And that's what I like about this book. It's so forthcoming. Okay. And then we go down here to Jupiter. It's telling you the planetary name, Jupiter, Zeus, and Zetic. I think that's what it says, to Zetic. And so, I've heard too that the name for Jesus was taken from Jupiter and Zeus, therefore made into Jesus. I've heard that too, because Jesus itself means Hail Zeus. Okay. And so that was just a little esoteric meaning I just broke down for you. And it tells you the Sifra that is connected with Chesed or Gadula. In Greek is Doxa or Doxa. In English, majesty, love, and kindness. And what element is good to work with this? Water. Okay? They're letting you know the element of water would be good with working with Jupiter, which I find that odd because since I'm a Sagittarius, it's a fire sign, but it's saying here that the element to work with this is water. Okay? But if you're Sagittarius, you can work great with Jupiter. Okay? And I'll kind of show you which signs can better work with each planet probably in another video, not this one. And so you see the symbols here. It's the oak leaf crown, the Jupiterian cup, the shepherds of staff. So ocean is Chesed, a thunderbolt. That makes sense. The thunderbolt makes sense to me. Okay, so they're letting you know what's the symbols and implements that represent Jupiter. And here's another sigil. I'm not familiar with these sigils. Like I said, I wouldn't use it because I don't know enough about it. And then it tells you the geometry of form and the number. Okay, and all of these are 4. 444 is just letting you know it's 4. And it tells you the colors for the planet. And Jupiter represents expansion, abundance, finances. It represents that. You would think it would be green, but no, it is blue. Okay? And the mood, the planetary music mood would be majestic, joyful, uplifting. For me, I would play one of those shouting gospel songs for this. That's just me. That's what since I want to uplift myself and get that energy flowing through me. So that's what I would play for this one. That's just my that's just my preference. And it says the animals associated is the eagle, the owl, the swan, the whale, the white bull, the centaur, and the hippogriff and unicorn is associated with Jupiter. It talks about the trees. I've been talking to oaks and cedar here lately. I'm surrounded by pine, but here lately I've been seeking out oaks and cedars, and I've been talking to them a lot. Did not know they were associated with my zodiac planet. Did not know that, but it starts to make sense. When you follow your intuition, you'll find out how many things line up. The incense is nutmeg, pine, clove, sapphire, and hyssop. And you can also use these, some of these herbs, like you say, for incense as well. Okay. Agrimony, sage, it goes on. And then the metal is going to be tin, zinc, or antimony. So it's important that you have your table or your altar set up with these things that's going to attract that Jupiter energy or whatever planet that you're working with. And it's funny, I always wear amethyst, and here lately I was attracted to labradorite. I wear this a lot now since I've been working with the Planetary Magick, and it was something to me that labradorite also represents Jupiter. I had no idea. And again, I'm being led by my intuition, what speaks to me. So that's why I say always follow your intuition. And so, like I said, this is just a detailed book. You have another one here. Athene is associated, or Athena is associated with Jupiter. Did you know that? I was like, wow. I was just getting all the juicy stuff with this book. It talks about all the deities that you can work with in that planetary, with that planetary energy. Okay. And you have that Mars energy, again, Aries, and the Hebrew word is madam. And in the tarot deck, Mars is represented by the emperor. And the emperor is also represented by Aries in the tarot deck. But you'll start seeing the correlations in the tarot and astrology the longer you do them. And sometimes, now that I'm working with the planetary energy, I see some of the representations come up in my tarot readings. I see that come up for them. So that's Mars. There's no divine feminine in here because, again, they have made Mars the god of war, of battle, ambition, drive, sex drive, competitiveness. Mars, if you're trying to work on your business or something like that, it's good to work with these energy Mars, aggressive energy, competitive energy. So that'll be good for if you work and you're trying to work on your business, work with those energies. And then again, I'm going to come back here and kind of go through the zodiac signs and let you know which planets you're compatible to work with. Okay. The solar king. And usually when you're working with the sun, you're going to do that on Sunday because that's the day of the sun. Okay, what music is for this one? I'm interested in knowing. Is it telling me? And see, it lists the spirit here you're going to call on. Here, Archangel Raphael is over the planet. Malachim Kings is the angelic Torah. The planetary angel is Michael. And here it gives a sigil right here. The intelligence is Nakiel. The spirit is Sorath. So it gives you a lot of details when you're trying to find out more about these planets. And Venus is full of all sorts of divine feminine deities to work with. And so you have another Ishtar here. And again, I think this is a fabulous book to have in your library for a reference, so you can have as much information as you can on the planet that you want to work with. But I think this is a must-have. I like the book. I love this book. This is actually the first book I have found that includes divine feminine representations and archetypes for planets. I just found a lot of misogyny in the other books because these books were addressing men and not women. And we both know those are two different energies. Okay? Just love the book. I just love it. So you're able to get this book. I got it free online. I just put it in the search bar and it came up because I really wanted to get this book because everyone was talking about how good it was and how easy it was to learn things in this book. And so I said, I got to get this book. I searched it and I found it. And I was looking at it. I was like, oh, I got to share this with my subscribers here so they can see this book, and they'll have options that, what book they want to use when they're doing their planetary magic. Now, this is high magic. When you're thinking about planetary magic, we're talking about high magic. Low magic is like practical magic, elemental magic. That is like low magic. What planetary magic does is make your low magic more potent when you combine them together. But in doing this planetary magic, it takes some consistency with your rituals and ceremonies. It takes some commitment and devotion to that, because now you're leveling up your magic, and this is ceremonial. And so it might take a lot of practice and tweaking before you what I'm trying to say here, it are fluent in it. Okay, but you'll get better and better each time. And the more that you go in meditation and you can do this visualization, remember, you are solidifying that deity in your mind, in your consciousness, and furthermore, making it easier to work with them in your physical reality. I hope this made sense to you. I hope that made sense. But like I said, this is a very juicy book. Has a lot of stuff in here. Like, if you're just beginning, get this book. Like, I wish this book would have been presented in our hoodoo course. That have made things so much easier, instead of having these old books that's more than 30 years old that I am trying to decode and grab the information from. But there's no decoding in here. This is very forthcoming, very straightforward, and easy to read. Okay, so I hope you enjoyed this book review. I hope it gave you some options, some insight, and it educated you. I thank you so much for being here today. Put it in the comments. How did you, what did you think about this book? I think it's fabulous. And maybe I haven't ran up on another book as detailed as this one. I'm definitely keeping it in my library and using it for a reference for future purposes. Okay. Light, love, namaste, ashe, loved one.